The woman clearly had $100 billion in her bank account. But instead of enjoying the life of a wealthy wife, she chose to take a job as a cleaner. The reason she did this was because her 3 sons were all exceptionally capable. Her eldest son was the president of the National Academy of Sciences. Her second son was the richest man in the country. And her youngest son was the #1 traditional Chinese medicine doctor. To avoid being harassed by people who wanted to benefit from her, she rode her old tricycle every day and picked up empty bottles from trash cans to sell. Until one day, her 3 sons heard that their mother was going to attend a class reunion. To give their mother enough dignity and face, the 3 decided to accompany her to the reunion. But their mother stopped them because she thought her sons were too flashy and would make her classmates think she was showing off. She then pushed them away and left on her own tricycle. Little did she know that her sons had already prepared gifts for her. Her eldest son, in the name of his younger brothers, sent an antique worth $5 billion. The second son booked the entire banquet hotel. The youngest son invited a famous singer from 40 years ago to give their mother the best celebration possible. Meanwhile, her classmates had also learned from the sons that the richest man's mother was their classmate, and that today's banquet hotel had been fully booked by them. After hearing this, they immediately wanted to go downstairs to welcome the rich man's mother personally. After all, their children all worked in major corporations. At that moment, the woman had also arrived at the hotel, and she ran into one of her old classmates. Just as she was about to greet her, she was met with Laura's disdain. Laura said directly that she was just a cleaner, earning only $3,000 a month, barely enough to support her sons. Then Laura boasted about her own family's situation, claiming that she lived the life of a wealthy wife every day, and even went out in a $1 million luxury car. The classmates who had been waiting nearby looked at the way both women dressed and lived, and immediately assumed that Laura was the mother of the richest man. They pushed the woman aside and hurried to flatter Laura instead. They even praised Laura's parenting style, saying she had raised her son to become the chairman of the top corporation. Little did they know that Laura's son was just a driver, and that the luxury car she mentioned actually belonged to her son's boss. The woman standing by tried to explain that her own son was the real chairman, but no one was willing to believe her. They even mocked her as nothing more than a garbage-collecting cleaner. They insisted that the real chairman's mother was Laura. Driven by her ridiculous vanity, Laura admitted that she was indeed the chairman's mother. Watching the crowd leave with her, the woman couldn't help but chuckle softly. Meanwhile, in the banquet hall, everyone had heard about the chairman's antique donation. As they were all guessing who the chairman's mother was, Laura, out of vanity, admitted on the spot that she was the one. She claimed that all the gifts were her son's doing, and that she couldn't stop him. Seeing her classmates' envious gazes, Laura became even more smug, completely forgetting who she really was. Then she asked the woman what her sons had donated to the school. Hearing her classmates mock the woman, Laura finally felt satisfied, because back in school, they had both liked the same boy, but the boy had chosen the woman as his wife. That made Laura extremely jealous of her. The woman didn't want to argue anymore. She simply took out the bag she had brought and said it contained medicinal herbs worth $100,000 each. Drinking them could nourish the body and even treat certain illnesses. She then distributed them to her classmates, but Laura refused to believe it. She immediately asked what the woman's sons did for a living. Not wanting her classmates to think she was showing off, the woman said her eldest son was a repairman, her second son was a businessman, and her youngest son was a doctor. After hearing this, Laura immediately assumed her sons were all useless and unemployed. Thinking of her cleaning job, Laura became convinced that her assumptions were right, believing that the expensive herbs were fake. She then threw the herbs to the ground. Watching the woman crouch down to pick them up, Laura stepped on her hand. Some classmates wanted to intervene, but others stopped them, saying that Laura was now the chairman's mother and they couldn't afford to offend her. So the classmates gave up, letting Laura bully the woman freely. Unable to hold back her anger any longer, the woman grabbed a glass of water from the table and splashed it right onto Laura's face. Seeing Laura still trying to threaten her with that fake identity, the woman immediately exposed her vanity and lies, but the classmates didn't believe her. Laura pointed at the herbs on the floor and accused the woman of bringing fake medicine. She even said she would call the police to have her arrested, but the woman suddenly remembered something. She demanded that Laura compensate her at market price, at least $10 million for the herbs. Upon hearing that, Laura didn't panic at all, because she didn't believe the woman had that kind of money. But the next second, she heard the woman say that her son was the #1 traditional Chinese medicine doctor. As the woman took out her phone to call her son, Laura finally became nervous, afraid that her lie would be exposed. She grabbed a bottle from the table and threw it at the woman. She even used her fake identity to threaten the other classmates into throwing things at her too, saying that this way they were helping her collect bottles to make money. Just as everyone was about to continue throwing bottles, the banquet hall doors suddenly swung open.